Hey everyone, welcome to the One Brick Studios workshop. I'm Nathan, and today I'm showing off some wooden dice that I've made. But these aren't normal wooden dice, these are special dice. One of them is a pencil holder, and one of them is a pencil sharpener. Because I love dice, I play board games and D&D, use lots of dice, so I thought, you know what, why don't I take this iconic little thing that is used for so many games and do something fun with it. So let's go to the workshop and I'll show you how I made them. First, I cut down my maple into 1 3/4 inch cubes on my table saw and applied a template I made with some spray adhesive. I punched out the centers of each pip and drilled out the holes with a 3/8 inch bit. I went in about 1/2 inch deep for all of the holes except for the holes on the 6th side of the die. For those, I drilled almost all the way through the block, about 1.5 inches. To create the pips in the die, I used a special plug cutting drill bit to cut plugs into a piece of scrap walnut. These plugs are normally used to hide screw and nail holes in woodworking pieces by making a plug out of the same type of wood, but they also work great for inlaying different colored wood without using pre-made dowels. With the plugs cut, I popped them out and glued them all into the holes except for the 6th side. Once dry, I cut the plugs flush with my Japanese flush cut saw, and then sanded the sides smooth with my orbital sander. For the 6th pip side, I cut a 3/8 inch brass pipe into 1 inch segments and tapped them into the holes, using sandpaper and a deburring tool to smooth out the sharp edges. Finally, I rounded the corners and the edges and applied 2 coats of Danish oil. For the sharpener, I followed all the same steps as I did for the pencil holder, except I only drilled 1/4 inch deep holes for every pip. I glued the pips into every side except the one side and cut them flush. On the bandsaw, I cut off one side, being careful not to cut into the pips. With the lid removed, I used my drill press with a Forstner bit to hog out most of the material from the inside of the block. After some measuring and testing, I was able to cut down a block of scrap wood that would hold the pencil sharpener in place. I glued the sharpener to a block with CA glue, and then glued the whole thing to the inside of the die with more CA glue. To keep the lid in place, I glued a small magnet to the back of the lid, which conveniently attached to the sharpener. I also added a few small lips so the lid would not rotate. Once the lid was in place, I rounded the edges on my belt sander and applied the Danish oil. So that's how I made the pencil holder and the pencil sharpener. So lessons learned. Mostly it has to do with the pencil sharpener. I realized after, of course, I did it, that when you make a square block of wood and then you cut a piece of it off, you actually don't get 2 parts that equal a square anymore, because the blade, no matter how thin, will remove that amount of wood. In addition to that, I had to sand the surfaces to make sure that they were smooth, and coupled with a few other things that I did, the pencil sharpener is not perfectly square. It's not too obvious, but it's obvious to me. If you hold these two up and you look at them, there is about a 1/16 of an inch difference. This pencil holder is pretty good, pretty square. Pencil sharpener, not so much. And I want to come up with a better method of securing the lid. Right now the lid is a little loose and doesn't quite line up. It's okay, but it could be better. The pencil holder, on the other hand, I'm very happy with. I think I pretty much nailed it, which is a first, I think. I'm very happy with how it looks, how it feels. It has a nice weight to it, which is thanks to the brass tubes that I added. Thanks for watching. The next video may come out a little later. I'm in the middle of some much longer projects, some cosplay stuff. I may not have enough content ready for a video in a few weeks. We shall see. To get the most up-to-date information, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And until the next video, hopefully 2 weeks, but maybe longer, I'll see you next time.